right, it's time for a deep dive in South Carolina. What might happen in the primary there, and what are the stakes?
Joining us now with his theories and insights is the Hill's editor-in-chief, Bob Cusack. Bob, you got your theories and insights ready?
Many theories.
Tell us what's going to happen, Bob.
Well, the lead, I think, is Joe Biden, because he has everything riding on South Carolina. He has not performed well. He's not had stellar debates. So he's got to win this thing. I don't think he can finish second, even though some would say, well, that's his best performance in all likelihood, because I don't think he's going to finish second in Nevada. So overall, I think he's got to win this thing. And even if he wins it narrowly, I think it's a big momentum thing for him. However, he doesn't have a lot of money.
Well, that's the problem.
That is the problem. And that's always been his problem. And that's why he flipped on super PACs.
And that's the other issue, Bob, is even if you win South Carolina, you only have 2 days before Super Tuesday.
Yeah,
you don't have enough time to blanket the states or buy any ad. That's why you have to have all that money in the bank first. Here's the other thing. He's been floating the idea he might get Jim Clyburn's endorsement, which would be a huge win in South Carolina. Any update on that front? What do you think?
Clyburn has been saying some nice things. He's been doing a fair amount of interviews about Biden. Hasn't gone so far to endorse him. I think that would be significant, but it's not going to be a complete game changer here. Biden has just been he's been struggling, and unless he has that comeback win, and I think that would be a great story, great political story, certainly a great story for him. Then he goes into Super Tuesday just a couple days later. Then that could be it.
Yeah.
I mean, even if he wins South Carolina, but then really disappoints on Super Tuesday, it's not good for him.
I mean, frankly, the fact that Clyburn hasn't endorsed Barack Obama's vice president, the establishment pick. I mean, Clyburn is the establishment in South Carolina. That he hasn't endorsed him speaks to me to a fundamental weakness there, where you have Sanders coming up in the polls. You have Steyer eating into him in South Carolina as well. And you also see no evidence of really an effective organization on the Biden side to capitalize on the goodwill that does exist for him in South Carolina. There's a very real chance that he could fall into second place in that state.
Oh, I think so. And remember, Clyburn is very close with President Obama. He golfed with him a ton of times when he was president. So you would think that maybe they're having some private conversations. And of course, we all know that Obama is not endorsing and will not endorse Biden.
Yeah, it's going to be, I mean, that's kind of the shocking thing, Bob. I guess who has to come? Bernie's probably going to come in second, or has to come in second there. Who else is a kind of a must? I mean, you know what? If Pete Buttigieg could get like third or fourth, that actually would be pretty interesting, right?
Yes. Yeah. And also Amy Klobuchar has to follow up her performance, her good performance in New Hampshire, either in Nevada or in South Carolina. I agree. I think if Buttigieg finished third, I think he could spin that very effectively. But yeah, I mean, listen, Steyer has spent so much money. It hasn't worked to this point. I think this is also a key state. I think he has to finish in top two because remember, the establishment was looking, okay, Joe Biden, he's the centrist. We like him. Then he struggled, and then Bloomberg gets in the race. And now we're seeing some surprising, to me, numbers for Steyer in South Carolina. Could he get a third look? I mean, Democrats are looking all around because they're like, oh, my God, it's chaotic, and Bernie's going to win, and the establishment in Washington, D.C. is freaking out.
How representative is South Carolina of other southern states, particularly ones that are going on Super Tuesday?
Well, I mean, on Super Tuesday, you just have, you span the entire, basically, country. I mean, you've got California, you've got Texas, you've got Vermont, you've got so many states.
I think I know who's going to win in Vermont.
Yeah, I think Vermont, I don't think many candidates are spending time there. But this is going to be the first test of the African-American vote, and that's the most important thing. Are African-Americans going to abandon Joe Biden? And we've seen him slip. I mean, Joe Biden's been saying, well, listen, I'm still up in the national polls. Now he's not. He's still up with African Americans, but that has been slipping.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting.
Thank you so much, Bob.
Thanks, Bob.
All right, we'll have more Rising for you after this.